Hey everybody, good morning or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. So this is my first training video, and what I thought would be most beneficial is, before getting into all the deeper technical stuff that's obviously gonna take us some time, what information could I give you if you were going to go out and you had a shoot tomorrow? What are the things that you could just really quick pick up? So this is what I thought would be the most beneficial, and I'm gonna teach this by doing two things. One, I'm gonna kind of prep you of where I would start. And the second thing, I'm gonna go over some clips from a couple sessions I had while I was shooting in Nashville, so I can kind of tell you some of the thought process of while I was actually shooting. So the first thing is, you're gonna be booking the session with your client. And what clients typically will ask me right off the bat is, where are we going to shoot? So the number one thing that goes into choosing my shoot locations for my clients, whether it be a senior or a family, is what they're wearing. So unless they're specifically like, I really want to shoot on my family farm, or I really wanted to shoot over downtown by this bridge, if there's not a specific request, and most of the time there is not, they trust you, your vision, you're going to be the one coming up with the locations. With that said, I don't ever just spout off a location because I just like the way it looks. What I'm looking at is what my clients are going to be wearing so the scenery can complement them. It just, to me, typically, I'm not saying you would never do it, but would it make sense to take a family that was all in a really formal gowns and take them to the woods? And vice versa, if they were in some like little flowy dresses, yes, you could shoot them downtown, but it may look better in the woods. So the number one thing I'm looking for is, what are they wearing, so that I can decide a location that complements them. Secondly, time of day. Now, typically you're gonna have the best lighting right before sunset. It's called golden hour. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard golden hour, but I love that lighting. It's very complementary even to skin tones. So with scheduling your shoot, I would say you should have a time frame in mind of how long your session is gonna last. Try to schedule that to end right around the time the sun is setting. Okay, so now with my Nashville shoots, the outfits you're gonna see my seniors in, because this is with two seniors, Hayden and DJ, and I looked at their outfits before even deciding on any sort of location other than Nashville. And so you'll see why I chose what I chose, and I'll explain that too. Okay, so this first clip I wanna show you is one of the first outfits that stuck out to me when Hayden's mother sent me pictures of what she was gonna be wearing. I did already know this location because I had shot here before, and immediately the colors all went together. So you can see this really neat mural in Nashville complemented exactly what she was wearing. And so also in this clip, you can see I'm giving her a lot of direction. So one thing I've gotten into the habit of doing with my clients isn't posing them, but I don't want them to just stand there. I don't want it to look staged, but instead of posing them, I'm asking her to walk. So one foot in front of the other, and I'm kind of giving her direction because I'm going to shoot the entire time. So I don't have a pose, but I have a natural capture of something she's doing. So right here, it's her walking, but it might be with playing with the hair. It might be, look over there. Can you laugh? I don't want them to just smile. I want them to actually be laughing, because somewhere in maybe the 5 or 10, and I will tell you I'm an overshooter, and some photographers are like, you don't need to overshoot. I overshoot, I feel comfortable that way. You do it what works for you. But so when they're moving through those motions, whether it be walking or the hair, I'm catching that natural motion, because that is where I feel like I find my those golden ticket pictures that I'm just like, So, okay, so I decided to use this clip so I could show you guys a couple things. One, again, this black dress is matching parts of the floral wall. Now, I had brought someone there before, and I try not, even though I said I used the lip wall too, but I do try to make everything unique for every single client. That's super important to me. It requires a lot more in the thought process, but it also can set your business apart rather than doing the same things over and over. However, the last girl I had brought here had on a pretty little white sundress, and it was adorable and it was perfect. Hayden, I felt like she had on this black dress that was a little more fitted, and I felt like it brought a totally different vibe to the picture. So a couple things here. One, I have her hiding in the shade. There's only about 1.5 feet of shade, so it did happen to work out. I preferred the lighting for that and for what I was trying to do here. She had a big hat on. You can always step out into the sun, and I had a couple pictures where I let the sun come through like the straw on her hat. It made little lines on her face that were really actually pretty and kind of artsy creative. But for this particular pose, I have her in the shade because I like the way the lighting works there. So what I'm telling you to do is you don't have to hide in the shade. What I would encourage you to do if you're going with your client is do it both ways. So when you're in post-production, so while you're going through and picking your favorite images to edit, you have that pretty lighting from the shade, and then you have more of a what I'm going to call an artistic lighting that you can maybe do something fun with or have a lens flare from or something like that. Also, you're going to see I'm doing the same thing I just mentioned from the last. I'm having her walk through her pose. She's not just posing, she's moving through it. Again, that is where I find my golden shots, my favorite shots, my most popular shots. They are in motion. Okay, so this is a really short clip, but again, I just kind of wanted to drive home the point of I love the motion shots. So what I have Hayden doing is, and it's for a couple reasons, it's not just the motion of her step and her movement, but I had her pop. I had her step off the curb. And what I was telling her was when you step, get a big oomph with it, because it's not gonna, it may feel ridiculous in the moment, but it's not gonna look ridiculous in the shot. But my goal was to get her stepping off the curb, and with that oomph I'm talking about, her hair lifts, she turns, it moves, the movement is beautiful. So, and then something else, I had noticed that when the lights would turn green, traffic would slow down for me because people weren't crossing the street. And so as you can see, there's big amounts of foot traffic back here. So I was trying to time when we were shooting, and it just took a little longer and we had to be patient, but I was trying to time with the shooting when cars were on the street and people weren't able to go across that crosswalk. So just little things like that, rather than like, well, it is what it is and we'll just shoot really quick. Little things like that are gonna make her shot so much better, rather than if she was surrounded by all these strangers and wearing whatever. So think about little things like that when you're shooting. How can I time this between the motion of her movement and even the background noise being the people in this instance? So think about those things because they're actually really, really important. And there's really, if you have the appropriate amount of time, no reason to rush the shot. And just take your time. And even if you're waiting on people to walk through, take that time to explain to your client, hey, okay, so I'm waiting on these people to pass through and the traffic light to stop the other people from walking. And so when everyone's gone past, let's go, we're gonna step off the curb. And so we're both ready and we're both on the same page to make this shot happen when the time is right, so. Okay, so here I am working with DJ. Now you can look at his outfit and tell it was important to me to make the background complement him, as I keep saying. You can also tell that I'm sitting here with him, trying to explain to him, which by the way, excuse how frazzled I look. It's been a long work day. But you can tell I'm sitting here working with him, trying to explain through the motion and what I'm trying to capture so it makes more sense to him. Okay, why is she laying on the ground? Why is she shooting up my nose? And with him, I was telling him, hey, there's this big neon sign behind you. It's gonna look really cool, and it did. And so we worked through his moving pose, but also I kind of explained to him what I was trying to see. So it made it a lot easier for him to do this pose. Another thing I really want to mention that this is important to me. So I do always ask my clients at the beginning of my shoots, I say, do you prefer smiley or serious face? And a lot of times they'll say smiley. The reason I love serious faces is because when you're smiling, your eyes are not as open as when you're serious. So a lot of these moving poses that I do, or even just sitting there, I do have them smile, but I also have them take a deep breath and we do a really serious face. So I've captured each shot both ways. That way I can go back and kind of have, I would say I try to keep it as an even number when I deliver a session to someone between serious and smiley, unless they're picking their pictures and they want all smiley or all serious, but at least I've delivered them the option to choose one or the other. So here with DJ walking, we walked down serious, we're like, go back. We came back and we were smiling. And then some of the times I'm like, can you just start laughing at your mother? Which normally it starts out as a fake laugh and then it becomes pretty genuine because, moms were hilarious. So okay, so with this particular shot, what I wanted to mention to you was basically So I went across the street, and obviously I was trying to time the shot with the traffic, as you can see. So never a big deal. We just patiently wait. But the other thing is, you can see I have DJ. He's right against the wall. Now, I do love people against the wall if it's almost like a leading line. However, he's flat up against the wall, and you can see I'm like, hey, step out. Well, you can't see me because of the traffic, but I'm like, step out. And the reason is I want my client to pop from the wall. If they're right against the wall, it just starts looking really flat to me in particular, or to me personally. So I don't really like that. What I want is my client to step. Now, sometimes maybe there's not enough room to have them stand out depending on what lens you're using. But for this one, I had enough space, and I was like, hey, DJ, basically hand motions at this point. It's so loud. But I was like, step out from the wall so that he pops in his image, and he is in the forefront. He's not just like blended in with this wall. So hopefully that makes some sense. Okay, so one of the things I want to wrap up with this, as far as behind the scenes, is we went down this alleyway. Normally this alleyway is cleared of traffic. People walk through it. It's in Nashville, but there's not a lot of vehicles parked in there. So when we went to turn onto the alleyway, there was this big red truck that was parked there. And so first off, I'm a person. My heart panicked. I was like, oh no, I want to use this spot. And I don't know, this truck may be there for the next 5 hours. So without knowing, so what I wanted to do first and foremost, no matter how I was feeling inside, was reassure my client, we're going to make this work. And so then I start thinking, okay, red truck, she had on red heels. So what I did was I pulled her for the shot much further away from that truck. So actually now that truck became, as Bob Ross says, a happy accident. And so now her red heels have this big red truck behind it. And so I felt like by the time I had pulled her in front, blurred the background, which was because I was using a prime lens, which we'll get into lenses later, but now the coloring ties her all together. So it actually was really genuinely a happy accident. So we used this truck all around the area. Like I shot down the fender to give her a leading line of red and all kinds of things. But with that said, you make sure no matter what the situation is, if it's raining or something like that, you can only do what you can do. But make sure to reassure your client, because you want them to feel good through the whole shoot. Because if they see you kind of, I don't know if you should say crumbling, but if they see you worrying about if things are going to turn out, they're going to start worrying, and your whole stamina from the session is going to just go down, down, down. So again, when I saw this truck, quick moment of panic, but I started thinking, how can I turn this into being one of our benefits? So I was like, let's play with the red. And that's exactly what we did. So happy accidents, happy accidents. Okay, so with the couple clips that I showed you, I want you all to tuck that kind of in the forefront of your mind for your next session. You're gonna pay attention to what they're wearing, where you're gonna take them based off of what they're wearing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say plan your session at sunset just to get started. And then be conscious of your poses. Movement is your friend. You want them moving, whether it be a family or just a senior, which yes, I do focus more on seniors, but you want them moving through the shot. Now, make sure you get your still shots, those serious faces up close or however, but you also want that movement. I can't describe how important it is to you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me or message me. I will do my best to get back with you. I'm not sure how big this is gonna grow or how quickly, so I may get back to you immediately, or it may take me a day or two. Just be patient with me, and please tune into the live so you can ask your questions live, and I just can't wait to see your pictures. Send them to me. Send me what you get from the session when you apply this information. So have the best day.